All right, what's up, guys? So, I think I talked about this on my old channel, but I'm gonna talk about clinginess, and I'll tell you this: I'm not crazy about people that are clingy and all that. I used to have been a very clingy person, a lot more when I was younger, because, like, right when I got out of special ed, I was socially deprived. I was craving friends, and I wanted to be accepted and have a status, so like I was being very clingy to the people that I wanted to be friends with, and basically it annoyed them. I got shunned by these people. I got the silent treatment from them. People would invite me to things that would be fake, and I would just feel like a clingy person, you know? I would feel like a pushover, and I realized after high school, I was like, damn, I was a clingy dude, and I tried so hard to make friends and act like an attention seeker and all that, you know, and I had to change because I don't want to be like that. And I'll say it wasn't necessarily my fault, because my mom didn't let me hang out with people, you know, and I think that was the problem for me. And being away from that kind of makes you have that type of behavior, you know. And I guess we'll talk about it in general. I mean, as people will be clingy for a lot of reasons, I guess people will be clingy because they're lonely, you know. People will be lonely, and they'll use the loneliness and turn it into clinginess with certain people, and they want that attention. They want validation. They want all those things, because they don't hang out with that much people, you know. And I guess it's understandable, right? But sometimes it affects that person's boundaries. Like, if you're disrespecting someone's boundaries, you're being clingy. That's not cool, you know. You gotta know when to, like, stop being too persistent with somebody when they want to be left alone, you know? So, I think the problem with being clingy is you'll override someone's boundaries. And I guess this can happen with, like, getting a girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're trying to get a hookup or something. Like, you could be desperate, you'll get clingy, and it doesn't end up well, you know? Because a lot of times when people are clingy, people want something out of you. They want something because they want to try to fill their void. They want to be clingy about you because maybe they view you as a therapist friend, and they use you because you're a great listener. You're willing to give them attention, you know? And if they're not reciprocating that back to you, and they're just being clingy about it with you, then that's not cool, you know? That's someone just using you. That's a clingy person that you don't want to hang out with, you know? And then when people blow up your phone all the time, they text you constantly, they call you all the fucking time, like every day, or stuff like that. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 days, like, that might be okay. Maybe it's like something urgent, but if it's like an everyday occurrence all the fucking time, that's too clingy, you know? Then it kind of forms like a form of harassment at that point. If someone's like clingy with that shit. Yeah, I mean, I was clingy, like, trying to get with women also, you know? I would text them all the time. I would do this and that. I guess there's women would see that, would be like, oh, that guy's desperate, you know? Shit like that, I guess. I guess we'll talk about being desperate with women in a video, but we're just going to talk about clinginess with this video. But, yeah, a lot of times the person can be insecure also. They don't embrace solitude. They always feel like they are depending on somebody all the time. So they tend to cling on people, and I think a lot of times they don't realize what they're doing with their behavior when they're interacting with this person, why this person's not trying to go with their plans, or like try to hang out with them that much, because they don't like the clinginess. They don't have that boundaries that they're getting, you know. So, because boundaries are important when you want to have friends, you know. It really is, especially if you're in a relationship with a girl or a guy, you know. You want boundaries, and you don't want clinginess all the time. Some people are like that because they're more anxious. They have more anxiety, you know, and that's understandable too. Like, I'm like that also. When I tend to get very anxious, I tend to act kind of clingy, you know, because you're worrying. You tend to have like an anxious attachment style. Like, you're afraid of abandonment. You're afraid of like someone leaving you, you know? And that stems from childhood a lot of times. Like, if you grew up with parents that abandoned you more, and you were more neglected and stuff like that, you will have a high likely chance of having like an anxious attachment style. Like, I talked about these types of styles in my videos on my old channel, but you'll have a more likely chance to be a clingy person, you know? So, but I guess like when a lot of times a clingy person to me it doesn't sound authentic friend to me a lot of times. Maybe certain situations it might be, because maybe they really care about you, but a lot of times if someone's clingy, they're using you for something. Because I know when I was clingy to people from my high school, I wanted to have that status. They were getting with these girls. They were jocks. They were into sports and shit. Like, that's why I was clingy, you know? I want to hang out with the neurotypicals and shit. So, that's why I was clingy. And I was using it for something. I wasn't like... It was basically for status, you know? People will be clingy with someone because of looks, or saying, like their social circle, you know? They want to hang out with these certain friends, like I said before. Financial status, money, right? All kinds of things. Yeah, and then the thing is, when you get clingy too, it's it kind of exacerbates your mental health when you get too clingy with people. You start to feel overwhelmed. You start to like not realize, like, or self-reflect on what your behavior is and why people are rejecting you, and why people are say, like, not hitting you up with anything, you know? Because that's what happens, you know, when you get clingy. You start to you're worsening your mental health, you know? When you stop being so clingy with people, you feel better in a sense. You don't feel the need to have all this attention from somebody, you know? Right? And yeah, I think everyone gets clingy from time to time, you know? I mean, I still do. Sometimes I can get kind of annoying with stuff, you know, with people. Sometimes I accidentally override someone's boundaries at times, but that's the thing. Needs to be respectful. You need to know when to stop when someone wants to take a break, you know, or stuff like that. Because it's a turn off to people, you know, being clingy too much. trying to think of anything else. I guess people that tend to be clingy or have a tough time being self-reliant, or they have a tougher time thinking independently too, because people that tend to be clingy, that they tend to be followers a lot of times, and they tend to not think for themselves, you know, because they want social approval. They want all this attention. They want to belong somewhere. They have this anxious attachment style where they're afraid that they're going to be abandoned, and that's why a lot of them tend to be pushovers. Like, that's how I was, you know. I was more of a pushover when I was younger, and that's how it happens usually. And then it just affects your mental health, like I said, and it's just not good to be too clingy with people. Because when you get too clingy, people will see that. People will see that you're acting clingy. So there's messed up people out there that will take advantage of that shit too. They'll take advantage of like your clinginess a lot of times. I think that might be it. I think that might be it. I'll catch you guys later.